And Chicago's been grappling with policing issues long before George Floyd's murder, but his killing has kept the issue in the forefront, even to the point of spurring calls to completely abolish the Chicago Police Department. Amanda Vinicky joins us now from Springfield, where she's covering the legislative session this week, and she has more. Amanda.
Yeah, Paris, it is very true that Chicago had been trying to confront issues surrounding policing for quite some time. But as was the case across the country, George Floyd's killing spurred a summer of uprisings. That footage of Floyd dying, even as bystanders begged for Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin to lift his knee, spurred outrage and calls for change in Chicago. It was during those uprisings that a coalition of abolitionists and activists came together and formed the Defund CPD campaign. Alicia Camille is a 20-year-old organizer with the group. She says looking back on the past year, it's bittersweet.
I'm glad people are noticing and recognizing this is wrong, but also I always just think about all of the other hundreds of Black people that have died before this year, that we needed the same reaction and uprising too.
So bitter that it has taken this long and something like Floyd's death to bring attention to what she says are systemic flaws in policing and prisons. But she does appreciate that folks are now galvanized. They're asking questions and they're joining the movement, including workshops like one that Defund CPD campaign is putting on tomorrow. Now, the initial ask that the campaign is fighting for, the city council to take away 75% or about $1.2 billion from the Chicago Police Department budget and then reallocate it toward reopening closed schools and mental health clinics. Camille says that once Black and brown communities get the billions of dollars that police have, people can toss out indoctrinated false notions of policing and reimagine what public safety can look like.
Kind of about when we take money away from people who are supposed to be helping us, from people whose job descriptions are supposed to protect and serve, and we're actually putting it into community and trusting into our community elders, people who are respected in the community to take care of issues, to dissolve issues. It's about really reinvesting into Black and brown communities.
Now, 33rd Ward Alderwoman Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez ran on the premise that police were getting too much funding while communities were not getting the resources that they need to stay safe. It is a notion that she says used to be politically risky. The answer to solving pretty much any issue had always been give police more money.
But what I'm seeing is that we are moving in a direction to move away from punishment and incarceration, and death, and move in a direction that that makes people whole.
Now, President of Chicago's Fraternal Order of Police union says that defunding the police, diverting money from officers, is the exact opposite. He says that will make communities less protected. He says police officers spend many long hours in Chicago's most violent neighborhoods working to keep those residents safe.
That we are not the problem. These neighborhoods need more police. And the problem isn't necessarily the police, it's the prosecution aspect of not keeping offenders in jail.
Now, John Catanzara says that a lot has changed in the past year since Floyd was killed.
Sad reality of that whole situation is that it was labeled as if it was a pandemic or epidemic itself and a nationwide issue that was going on everywhere with every officer that ever wears a badge. And it just was a false narrative from the get-go. It was a one-off, like many of these situations.
Now, in this particular situation, Catanzara says that Officer Chauvin did inappropriately use excessive force.
But this was not some perfect role model of an epidemic of law enforcement abuse or excessive force nationwide. It was a ridiculous narrative. Unfortunately, a lot of race baiting squeaky wheels use that to their advantage to further their own narrative and make law enforcement even more vilified than ever before.
Catanzara says he does agree that more money should be going to Chicago neighborhoods that have long been subject to disinvestment, but he says that that should come from elsewhere, not from CPD's budget. But Alderwoman Sanchez says that the CPD budget is the perfect place to help to fund the Treatment Not Trauma initiative that she introduced. This is a pilot program that is in the works and will have paramedics, clinicians, social workers, and sometimes with police, other times without CPD officers responding to mental health calls.
In terms of getting this money from the police department, which if you start thinking about the fact that this would be a model that would take work off the plate of the police department, you would think, well, then this is money that we can divest, but that hasn't happened yet.
The Alderwoman says what Chicago is doing now, relying on police to end violence, isn't working.
When we talk about defund the police, there's a lot of different ways to do that. I think that the part that we are missing in the conversation is we need to create the systems of care that are not in place right now in order to be able to prevent violence and in order to be able to address when interpersonal violence and intercommunity violence happens.
She says that she does believe in holding people accountable, but she also believes in restoration. Now, by the way, I am, of course, in the Illinois State Capitol, standing in the House chambers, and police are having to fight off attempts to end qualified immunity for officers. It does not appear to have the traction to pass, but it still is very much part of the conversation, particularly as this major criminal justice bill passed earlier is set to take effect this summer. So back to you, Paris.
Lots of pieces of this debate. Amanda, thank you so much. And up next, the complicated history of Chicago police reform explained. Please stay with us.